Welcome to F3 Financial Accounting. My name is Orla McGrail and I am a Dublin-based accountant. As well as working as an accountant, I am also a tutor with LearnSignal, and I, along with other tutors, will take you through the F3 syllabus. F3 is a knowledge-based paper, and you will need to pass it along with F1 and F2 to get through to skills-based papers. I consider F3 to be extremely important because it will give you the foundation stones for two later papers that are compulsory. They are F7, which is financial reporting, and P2, which is corporate reporting. These are both extremely important papers. The F3 syllabus will give you fantastic foundation in tackling these two papers, so I recommend that you take excellent notes because you'll be referring to these in two later study sessions for two later exams, and as well in your own personal work you'll be using them. F3. It is a knowledge-based paper, as I have said. It is also one of your earlier exams, so it's likely that this is one of your first exams with the ACCA, and it is probably quite different from other exams that you've done before. These are professional exams. This means that you'll need to know all of the syllabus. This isn't a case of you're being able to leave out part of the syllabus. You must study all of it. You must get a 50% to pass this exam. And the paper is split up into two sections, Section A and Section B. Section A is comprised of 35 short multiple choice questions. They're each worth 2 marks, so 70 marks. And then usually Section B has 2 long style questions which are worth 15 marks each, so typically 30. Again, the structure may change from year to year, but this is usually how it works. As you can see, 70% can be gotten from your multiple choice questions, meaning in theory, yes, you can pass on multiple choice questions alone. Multiple choice questions come from every section of the syllabus, and you must know the syllabus fully. LearnSignal is great for this because it takes the F3 syllabus, breaks it down, and gives a short video on each area. After each video, you will do a series of multiple choice questions. These are designed to reinforce what you've just learnt while watching the video, really cementing in that knowledge and making sure that you remember it. Also, the multiple choice questions give you a chance to practice these questions, and as we know, for these exams and to pass, practice makes perfect. How do you go about preparing for this exam? Firstly, you need to start doing exam style questions as early as possible. As I've already said, LearnSignal does have 5 short questions at the end of every video to really cement that knowledge in. And there's also a lot of questions available to you on our website. Doing exam standard questions is extremely important, both multiple choice and long questions. However, you need to get the timing right. This is one of your earlier exams. You need to perfect a really good exam technique to pass these exams. They're not easy exams. They're difficult, and students and candidates often run into timing problems. The exam is 2 hours long, so 2 hours is 120 minutes. Now, let's take out 15 minutes out of that for you reading over your paper at the end. It's important. And also a few minutes for just panicking or different things that come up in an exam. That leaves you 105 minutes. There's 100 marks available on that paper. That gives you roughly 1 minute a mark. You have those multiple choice questions. Each multiple choice question is usually worth 2 marks. That means you're going to spend 2 minutes on one multiple choice question. In the long questions, they're usually typically worth 15 marks. That means you're going to be spending 15 minutes per question. Again, 1 mark a minute. right from the beginning, you need to be setting yourself under these conditions. If you're attempting the short multiple choice questions we give you, set a clock. Ideally a timer with a beeper to give you some stress, and start the question. Initially, you're only going to be halfway through the question and the beeper is going to go off. But very quickly, you're going to see a big improvement. And by the time the exam comes round, time pressure isn't going to be a problem. And with our tuition and our help, the exam itself isn't going to be a problem because you're going to know the syllabus. That's the timing. You need to get that sorted. You need to get really comfortable working under time pressure. The next thing is this, as I said before, F3 financial accounting leads into 2 later subjects. You need to know this syllabus really well as knowing it and knowing how to answer exam questions on it. You need to understand the basic concepts. The basic concepts will form the foundation of both F7 and P2. What does this syllabus cover? When you finish studying F3 financial reporting with us, you need to be able to explain the context and the purpose of financial reporting. You also need to be able to demonstrate the use of double entry accounting systems, record transactions and events, prepare a trial balance, and also be able to identify and correct any errors. Prepare basic financial statements for both incorporated and unincorporated organisations. You also need to be able to prepare simple consolidated financial statements and be able to interpret financial statements. So as you can see, this is a really broad syllabus. It is also a very practical syllabus, and you need to be able to understand it. Areas that you don't understand will come back to haunt you either in this exam or in the later subjects. So take the time and invest it now. Invest it in understanding the concepts. If you don't understand them, they will come back and haunt you later. LearnSignal is fantastic because you've got a wealth of supports, as well as the short bite-sized learning videos that we'll give you on each area of the syllabus. You'll also have notes and a question bank to cover any subjects and any syllabus areas that might be a little bit more difficult or complex. I've spent an awful lot of time talking about F3. I think it's time that we started.